Alright, well, last night, my wife needed to go uptown, so I had to play mom, cut that one off short. Back to this project. I've got a new head gasket. It came in the mail today. Little perplexed. We see this guy. That's the block drain. And then we see these drips. Okay. Now, I do have a dehumidifier going on in here. Not going to explain why. We have a leak. Not in the roof, but in the wall because of groundwater. But I'm looking back here, and I'm like, okay, the drips we had right here are gone. There's nothing on the floor. Again, dehumidifier has been running nonstop for about 24 hours. But I don't know. Let's get the torch on. We'll look at the back of the head. That still looks pretty wet to me and pretty fresh. Should I have cleaned it one more time? Maybe. I mean, heck, the valve train and everything's off of it. It's not that much work to go ahead and throw a gasket on it. Torch back off. Okay. But this thing, it's the dumbest thing. It had a handle right here where that is, but you could only turn it right there. And it was already bent like over here to where you could get more turn. And then when I flushed the radiator out this summer, which I think I had said that's why that looks all rusty, I flushed the crap out of it. It broke off, so you just grab it with a pair of pliers. It really needed to be clocked like this. With this piece over here and the handle to where you could actually turn it. Because it only turns 90 degrees. Now that one was stuck. They're brass. I'm sure they're original. No big deal. Let's look at the other side, because I haven't even looked at the other side yet. To see, well, I mean, there's some wetness. And if you look, looks like it's traveling the crack between the bell house. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be leaking, right? It's just got to be. There's no way all that's just leftovers or extra. So the very first thing we have to do is get our drain pan. Now, I conveniently purchased this green drain pan, thinking like, you know what, I'm just going to keep one good, clean drain pan for coolant work. Not very clean. The nail and the Scotch-Brite pad, probably attribute that to my kids. All the rusty stuff that looks like where Dan Hurd gold panning, that came out of the 706 because I had put new fluid in it at one point, and well, I reused it, filtered it off with a funnel, reused it. We'll probably do the same thing here too, because this coolant is from 2023. It's not old. But let's get this thing plopped under there, and then now I have to find a pair of pliers to open that valve. Shouldn't be hard to find. I was kind of waiting around before I started the video. Got two sets of pliers here. The one I really like, I'll show you that. They're old. Not anything special, they're just old and I like them. But, sent the wife and kids. She's got a headache. Pregnant with a girl, I told you that. I said, babe, don't worry about it. This was like 4 o'clock. I said, I'll fend for myself as far as dinner. Now, I'm on the carnivore diet. Not talking about that, but I said, I'll just get pizza or something cheap, you know, take a nap, relax, you know, I really want you to be able to make coffee for me again. Didn't say that, but you know where I'm going at with that. So they just went and got pizza, and I thought maybe they would come down here because it's not really been that cold out. It is cold today. I'm about to take my boggin off, but we had hail earlier. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But yeah, I thought they were going to come down, and they didn't. But let's get this stuff drained out. These have got to be one of my favorite little pair of pliers. It's like a pipe wrench or a locking channel locks. I don't even know. Let's see if we can find a name on them. Well, that rusted away probably 20 years ago. They're old. They were my grandpa's. Really like them for stuff like that. You just grab. Oh, yeah. And completely missing the pan. Whoa, we're going to have to turn that down. Turn it down. Okay. Geez, what do you do with that? It just pees on the tire. All right, now that we have put a leash on the dog, it is peeing in the correct spot instead of all over our tire. But I'm going to let that drain out a bit. Obviously, I'm using the block drain instead of the radiator drain because I don't need to drain the whole thing. I just need to get it below the head gasket. Honestly, probably you're only left with a gallon in there. I don't know, but this guy, he is getting deleted because I went to tighten it up and it's still dripping. And, well, I was going to try to show you how I'm going to remove it without hitting the line there, but I don't know. I just have to tell you about it after it's done, I guess. Alright, so what I did is grind through it about a third of the way with the wrong grinding disc. We'll see if we can get any action here. Okay, see the coolant? That means it's cracking where I want it to. Because what you don't want to do is break the fitting off in the block. We're just trying to get this outside portion off because I don't want to take this line off. I don't want to damage it, the line. It's good luck finding the line or the gasket. Oh yeah, who said a claw hammer wasn't right for a mechanic? Well, let's see here. If I can get this piece out, then I can spin it. It's all still pretty warm. Yeah, I actually used an old worn out flap disc. See, there we go. Now, maybe, just maybe, if we can get that beat back up straight. I already figured out there's a 15 millimeter because, well, it's British. Beat that back up out of the way where it's not going to hurt the line. Take our 15 millimeter and we're just going to remove it. And I'm probably not going to worry about a drain valve because I'm not that lazy. I'll just get a plug to put back in its place. Because, well, I mean, we're not putting water in it, so it shouldn't need drained. And if I need to drain it, I'll just put a steel plug in there instead of a black brass one. I might put a brass one back in it, but I trust steel more. But, yeah, that's how we solve that problem. Hopefully, the pipe threads aren't metric. I don't know if in 1959 they had metric pipe threads. NPT, National Pipe Thread, as all I know. If it is that size, you know, that would be like a 3/8 MPT male. If it is that, then I should just be able to, 10 minutes up the road, get a Rural King, get a plug for it, call it a day. I'm going to need to pick up a bunch of brake clean anyways to complete this project. So I think I only have like 1.5 cans. And we started cleaning out the oil bath air cleaner, clean our mating surface, stuff like that. You can use gasoline, but if I'm going to have the kids and stuff down here, they get all gripey about the smell. To me, I'm used to it. I can't hardly smell anything anymore, and maybe that's why. So I just yanked the push rods out, the rods that were here. I just pulled the push rods out. Alarming enough to me, some of them had coolant on the end, which means coolant has probably gotten into our brand new oil. But there's ways around that. We can fix it. Not a big deal. Let's go ahead and get this hose off here. I would have used my really nice snap-on screwdriver. I mean, this is a snap-on. But all these old clamps you see always have this lip. So you can't fit a really wide screwdriver in there. It's kind of silly. This clamp, he looks like he might need replaced. Alright, well, I went ahead and took that hose all the way off. Probably a good thing I did, because that's not supposed to be in there like that. Not really sure why. It's new. There's a retaining ring. That's that hexagonal thing that you see. that thermostat, it doesn't really have a seal that I remember, but it sits in there and then sits in a groove. It was completely gone when I first worked on this tractor. Obviously, it didn't stay where it was supposed to. We're going to have to address that. Alright, so to keep things kosher and keep them on the same track of this instance, this thermostat is supposed to sit there, and it fits there good. Nice, tight. This is a locking ring that fits in there. Now, why did I blow it out? I really don't know. But it blew out, obviously, some time ago. Let's get the torch on. Because inside here, see that, like, left-hand diagonal groove? And then here, right-hand diagonal groove? Like, that thing has been pushed up against a bunch. So, how am I going to do? The only thing I can think of is if it's closed, there's just so much water pump force behind it. So I'm going to take the jiggler out. It's like a bubbler. It's so you can bleed the system better. That's what these things are. I'm going to take that out completely and probably drill that to like 1/4 inch. Maybe that'll alleviate this. If not, next time we have to work on it, we'll see if it does the same thing in 5 years. All right. I got this line off. Pulled this out of the way. Like I said, he's just going to hang in the air by the metal lines. Took this return line off and got all these loose. Those are 18 millimeters. Thought they were 11/16, but they're totally 18. Again, it's foreign. So we can go ahead and loosen our injector lines. Well, until they want to fight us, and then we can stop and readjust. You don't want to fight anything. If it comes off clean, it goes on clean. I have a bag set up over there that I put all the push rods in as a clean space. These should probably go in there separate because they have dirt on the outside, and the outside dirt is what I don't want on the push rods. But probably just going to throw these in the same bag. And I really have to think from a business perspective, what the hell am I doing working on this piece of shit? Sorry for the language, but this tractor, I mean, it's nice and handy, but it really isn't important. It just happens to be in here, and now it's broken down. It's in the way. Got a different battery charging because, well, the battery that was in it is now in that gas combine you all saw me move. Because the battery out of it is on the big diesel 275, or I'm sorry, 706. That's loose. You know, we juggle batteries because nothing charges. Believe it or not, this is the only tractor that charges. The new combine does charge, but none of the old ones do. I think the 1400 still charges. That line's loose. I don't like fighting them because when you're talking about lines, you know, if anybody's ever worked on this kind of stuff, lines should be nice and easy to put on and come off. If they're not, then you're doing something wrong. So I'm completely loose on this end. That one's loose. I need some help from the one 18 millimeter that I have. That's not it. That's not it either. Huh, wonder where that guy went. There we got it. It was on the tractor seat. And it doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel like it's stripping. It just feels like, you know, sooty old diesel stuff. Nothing terrible. Well, I thought maybe it would loosen up. Sometimes they do. I could have shot it with some penetrating oil and got it to come off by hand. Excuse me. But, I don't know. Maybe we'll get the morel mushroom hunt tomorrow, the next day, the next year. Did already loosen this a little bit, but I'll have to get a better wrench. That's 5/8. Two of them are off. See, now's when I wish I had two hands, because I bet you if I wiggle this line enough, that nut would come loose. And sometimes you got to hold them just in the right position to get the lines off. I should coin this series B275 cylinder head removal. Maybe I'll just put part 19 cylinder head removal, because every B275 in the country, and apparently in England, probably needs all the same jobs done as this one. Come on. Come on. I know I've used that one line wrench that was in the box for these, and that was 3/4, so it's probably has a couple rounded edges. But you use what you got when you got to use it. Lines to our safe spot, because we do not want dirt in the injectors. But apparently we would trade dirt in the injectors over dirt on the push rods. Alright, well, I have got the alternator zipped off and kind of hanging out of the way. I've got the fuel return line to the tank off. I've got the fuel return line to the filter off. I've got the injection lines off. We have got the wire for our glow plugs off. Obviously the radiator hose is off. I think I'm going to go ahead and loosen all of these and zip them out with that little ratchet. 5/8, 16 mil. I don't know, it's British. But, oh yeah, and the 5/8, 16 mil temp gauge that I never thought worked, but maybe if our thermostat was not in correctly, how would we know if it worked? We got our 5/8 on our Milwaukee. Guess I should show you. These things really make quick, light work of a job like this. They're not meant for big torques. I did loosen them all beforehand. But, oh, maybe I missed that one. Ooh, I might have missed that one. Oh, we're going to test it out. Oh, yeah. Maybe you can hear the clicks. I don't know. I must have missed one. I tried to loosen them from the outside in, just like I talked about before. Apparently it was silly because our head gasket still leaked on the outside. Oh, that one's definitely loose. Oh, I might have to get an extension. Extension installed. Now I could. Oh. Alright, now apparently that extension might be tired. It might have. Oh, yep, it's definitely tired. So we'll have to try. Oh, come on. Well. Okay, well that's done with the help of this fella. See, the light's still on. I'm going to go ahead and I should put gloves back on. Gloves are on. I'm going to take all of these head bolts, inspect the threads. That looks okay. Dirty. Oh, I think I lost a washer. I'll have to find that. I'm going to take all of these head bolts and put them in our safe spot. There's only one head bolt. That's actually the one you saw me wrenching on with the electric ratchet. That one I felt like earlier it didn't tighten up well. Not earlier today, but I don't even think it's in this video. But when I was retorquing, I felt like one of them just didn't feel right, and maybe it's because there's coolant down in the bolt holes. But anyways, I've got a handful of bolts here already. Oh, it smells like death. If anybody knows what engine death smells like, it's the engine oil. That gets cooked down into head bolts into our safe bag. I don't know necessarily that it smells like death. It just, usually you only smell it if, oh, there's some crap on it. Usually you only smell that smell if you're taking an engine apart, which means it's died. Maybe my definition should be recalibrated, because this engine didn't die. It's just got a little bit of an issue. Yet it has the death smell, you know, of well blowed up engine. Okay, see, there's a longer one, I think. No, it's not. Felt longer. Might not have been. The manual says that there is one long bolt, and that is this guy. Okay, there's all the head bolts. Okay, well, I gently tugged on this to see if the head was loose, and she just wanted to fall into my feet. It does look like our old gasket was copper, which is what I was expecting. Our new gasket is not copper. Let me figure out how I'm going to show you me removing this, or I don't know, tape the phone to my forehead. I might not even show this clip, but head's loose. It's just, you know, chilling out. Hang on. Okay, well, got the head gasket off. We can obviously see that we were having some combustion leave the chamber. Really bad on that one. Really bad on that one. Not so much on these. A little bit of coolant. Not really finding anything that's crazy. The cylinder walls still look like they have cross hatches. Oh, they look great. I told you I rebuilt this thing 5 years ago, and it's probably got 100 hours on it. I just neglected to retorque the cylinder head. Now, something else that I may have known but neglected to care about. There's the bottom. Look, we even had maybe some intermingling between cylinders. I don't know. But, just showing you. Honestly, it looks pretty dang good to me. Now on this coolant you see was in an intake runner, and you'll see a rusty valve. Well, that's because it was leaking. Now, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a crack. See a crack. You'll see a crack. And you'll see a crack. We're not going to talk about that. That's from the previous thing where the glow plugs came apart and beat the head to death. That's cylinder 1. This thing had a bunch of cracked pistons from somebody using like a whole bunch of ether. I don't know if those pre-cups, they call those pre-cups, it's pre-ignition cups. I don't know necessarily that they matter or not, but I guess I'll look into replacing those. Not saying I'm going to, but I'm really not seeing. Okay, so if that's the front of the head, it was leaking back here. It was leaking coolant. And from what I can tell, I still think it was just the fact that it didn't get retorqued. Like, F those pre-cups, you know, whatever. I don't care. The injectors aren't leaking, and those are held in by the injectors and the injector seals. So, I don't know. We'll see if we get by with them again, I guess.